Good morning, happy Monday. It is October 12th. Welcome to Cincy Lifestyle. Now, Mona, she has the week off. I'm going to do the best to fill in for her, but you'll have a week of the daddy-daughter work trio. Hi, good morning.
I know. I am so proud of my work daughter, too. I tell you what. So I'm glad to be spending this week with you, Allie. I'm very much appreciative of you being with us this morning.
Hey,
Say what? I'm sorry.
How was the weekend?
Too short, the way most of them are. I could have used another day. Traveled a little bit, went down to check on Mom, and she's doing all right. So she survived having me down there, so I'm back.
Well, you made it back.
I made it back. Allie, we are in the midst of this pandemic, and so as you know, so it's starting to make changes in a lot of ways. And one of the things that's popped up, I want to show you and get your take on it, because I know you've had some experience at other points in your life in the restaurant industry. Here is a robotic waiter at a restaurant in the Netherlands. Now, this waiter's job is to greet customers, to come in and talk a little bit about taking their orders, to serve food and drinks and that sort of thing, and to enforce social distancing in that restaurant. How do you feel about that?
Oh man, I have such mixed emotions across the board. So if folks don't know, we actually have one place like this downtown. It's called Tokyo Kitty, and it's a karaoke bar, which is pretty cool. And so in the rooms in the karaoke bar, there's separate rooms, and you put in the order, and then it'll bring your drinks to you. I think the experience is unique, but I am still a huge fan of human interaction. As someone who has worked in, the restaurant industry back in the day of TGI Fridays and P.F. Chang's, that was a big reason why I worked there, is for that interaction and that human connection. And I think that's why people also like to go to restaurants is for that. So I would prefer not to have robots. I think it's kind of weird. You can't ask the questions. You can't be playful with whoever is coming to wait on you. And I'm always very indecisive about my food. So I'm breaking it down to 2 or 3 items, and I need advice.
Except at certain chili restaurants where I can order your meal for you. The waitress can order your meal for you.
They might know our faces.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this. There are 2 restaurants in China that tried this very thing, and they quit. It just simply didn't work. And I agree with you that the human interaction part of it is probably at least as important as the actual outcome, i.e. food and drink being brought to the table. So I'd have a problem with that too.
That's what the drive-thru is for, but the world runs on human interaction, so we really could use more of that in positive light too. So
Agreed.
We're on the same page.
Yep. Well, clearly, as we've been discussing, there is nothing like the personal touch, and our next guest is a prime example of why that's important. There's a place where you can shop for vintage and rustic items to decorate your home. Oh, and in these unusual times, it's not only stress-free, but in the open air and socially distant. Well, that place is just a short drive from here, and it's called, appropriately enough, Charm at the Farm. And here now to talk with us more about it is Amy Doyle. She is the co-owner of Charm at the Farm. Amy, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so this market is happening on a 56-acre farm. So tell us a little bit about how you transform the farm into Charm at the Farm.
Yes. So, I grew up in Phoenix, city girl, but live on a farm. So what better than to have a huge vintage market on tons of acres of the space, and it's nice and open and you have fresh air on a farm. So it's just the perfect environment for small businesses to be able to come and set up and be able to sell.
Okay, so the model is that there are businesses who come into the space and provide their wares. You got a lot of new vendors this time around. So tell folks what it's like for them when they come to this experience.
Yeah, well, we have 100+ vendors that set up, and obviously this year has been different for them. Normally, by this time they would have done maybe 13 or 14 markets, and right now this may be their second or third. So we're excited to be able to have the opportunity for people to come out and shop. And for these vendors who some of them it's their full-time job, some of them it's just part-time, but for them to be able to sell their items.
So one of the other things that you offer as an option for folks who come to browse and shop is food too. Tell us about that.
Yes, lots of food trucks. So again, we have it set up where we'll have everything spaced out as far as tables, the opportunity to sit in a tent or sit on picnic tables. It'll be a good fall, brisk October weekend. So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, lots of food trucks, lots of great different items there. For all the different palettes that people will want to eat. But yeah, we're excited to be able to have it. We had a very successful August show, and we're very excited about this October one coming up this weekend.
Okay, so how much shopping do you do while you're there?
That is a great question. Vendors are not surprised when I walk by, point and say, hold that for me. And then when I have a moment, I come back by and pay. So lots of times at the end of the show, there's random things sitting in the field. Those are mine. Those are things that I've set aside for me. I'll get that later.
So what would you suggest to people watching that they might want to see when they come? What might be their favorite part of the experience based on what you've heard from other folks?
I don't know. I mean, there's going to be great home decor items. So not only fall, but Christmas. It's a great opportunity to get a head start on your Christmas shopping. It would be what I would say. This one especially will make you really feel in the Christmas spirit. So put together that list, get organized, walk around your house, take notes of maybe areas that you want to spice up with some new things, and this will be the great opportunity to do that.
All right. So let's help people connect to you so they can get tickets. How do they do that?
Okay. So charmatthefarm.com is where they can get tickets. We are sold out for Friday night VIP, but we have early bird Saturday and general admission for Saturday and Sunday available.
All right, that is super. Amy, thanks so much for talking to us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Indeed. Allie?
If you take a look around the tri-state, you'll notice that it's a magical time of year. Leaves are changing color, the temperatures are dropping a little bit, and fall flowers are popping up on a lot of doorsteps. So, in light of this, we wanted to revisit an interview we did with Bell Nursery to talk about mums. Take a look. Here with some answers is Jay Nordenbrock with Bell Nursery. Jay, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so you always bring some of the most beautiful, elaborate spread of flowers and plants. What do we have here right now?
Well, I brought a lot of different colors of mums. That's probably the most popular plant for fall. Just a ton of colors. It comes in any color you can imagine. It's great for any patio, especially outside. So.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a little bit. Indoor, outdoor. So are some of these more outdoor plants or some of these more indoor plants?
Well, we did bring some patio tropicals. One's called a croton down front, and that is really unusual to plant that or in a container. Most people don't think to do that, but it has a lot of fall color. But for the most part, they're all outside plants today. The mums, I brought some cool season perennials that do really well. And September's a great time to still plant. So,
as we're moving into fall, you mentioned mums. What makes a really great mum? How do you pick of the perfect mum?
Well, I always tell people to pick one that's really tight, that the blooms really aren't out much, because that's going to last a really long time. And then that way you'll get at least probably a month of color at least. So it's really great. And if you do plant them in the ground, September is a great time to do that. Plant them really fairly deep and always mulch it and keep the soil moist.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. I think a lot of people might think, oh, springtime, when you're moving into summer, everything's coming into bloom. Fall, would you agree that fall still is a really great time to take advantage of
It really is. It's plenty warm out. The temperatures are cooler at night, so they don't dry out. The soil doesn't dry out. It's a great time. And I haven't done this before, but today I brought some seed, which is a really nice time to reseed your lawns. September is the perfect month for that. It's been such a hot summer that a lot of the lawns need some repair. So,
what about watering? As we're moving into cooler weather, what does that look like, whether it's indoors or outdoors?
Well, a lot of people keep their mums in just containers that we grow them in, and that's fine. They do dry out a little faster that way. I'd say to check the soil every day, make sure it's moist. If you plant them in the ground and the temperatures, I think it went down in the 50s last night, they're not going to dry out as much. I'd say every 2 to 3 days you'd water them.
Every 2, so a little bit less than the summertime, which is good. Saves you a little bit of water.
Right.
When would you say is the latest you can plant?
It kind of depends on what October's like. Some Octobers are pretty warm, and that's still good. But if you do plant them in October, you got to make sure you mulch around the plants. Mums are also another tip for those to let them come back next year. It can be a perennial. Is if you leave all the foliage on throughout the winter and don't take that down or don't cut it down until the spring. So
now, also when it comes to indoor plants, when someone makes a wreath spread, I'm kind of curious about this. What would be some fall flowers and some colors that you might recommend?
Well, I've seen, as far as wreaths on doors and things, that really a neat trend is to actually use succulents. And I brought a succulent planter today, and they have those where you can keep, by misting that wreath, you can keep succulents growing in that. Another nice thing about succulents too is that you can bring those inside through the winter months, and they'll continue to grow. So it's a
keep them watered.
Neat tip. Yep.
Great. So Jay, if folks want to know more information about you and some tips and tricks, where can they find you?
Well, we're located, we're a wholesale nursery, but we're in all the Home Depot stores in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. So we're really easy to find. So please come out. Got a lot of great specials for you.
Great helpful hints. So, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Tell you what, it sure gets you in the spirit for the season, doesn't it? Well, stay with us, keep watching. We'll be back with some health and safety tips coming up for you and other items, including conversation with the wonderful folks at Logan Heating and AC Services. Stick around, we'll be right back.
A viral pandemic, economic instability. Man, how do you find peace in times like these? Well, I'm at the Northern Kentucky Church of Christ. Thank you for inviting us in. We appreciate it. So how does faith enable you to deal with these difficult times?
Well, first of all, faith is developed by reading and studying God's Word. In particular, I'm a visual type of learner, and so one of the things that the Bible does, in my view, a very excellent job in doing is painting some pictures, and it's those pictures that the Word of God creates that helps me to persevere as a Christian. And one of those images is the anchor of the soul. And you have this view or an image of a ship that is able to weather a storm because of the anchor, and Christ is that anchor for us. Another image that comes to mind is fixing our eyes, fixing our gaze on Jesus. And that image creates for me the fact that Jesus was able to endure so much, and what he has called us to do is nowhere near what he did for us, but in doing what he did, he was able to endure, he was able to secure our salvation and give us the victory. And so it lets me know that regardless of whatever problems and difficulties that I go through, they're only for a short period of time, and if I can endure, there's victory to be won.
How would something like this global pandemic and our financial instability for many of us, how should that shape our perspective?
Well, remember at the New Year when we were all celebrating and excited about what the New Year held in store for us. We were all making plans, and then the bottom fell out, right? And it changed for all of us. It really hit me what James said in chapter 5. He says that there are people who make plans about tomorrow and going here and there and buying and selling, and he says you don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. And instead you ought to say, if the Lord wills. And really, to me, that's the secret. And it's reminded me that we are really not in control. Jesus taught that we shouldn't be anxious, one, because by worrying, we can't add a single hour to our lives. And so it's great to be able to have confidence and faith in Him, that He gives us peace and direction and purpose in our lives.
That is a great perspective. And if people want to share in this peace, what should they do?
And so it starts with a relationship with God through the Word, the Bible. And we would love to be able to help you with that. At the Northern Kentucky Church of Christ, our website, nkcofc.com, has a lot of good material and an online Bible study. Of course, I'd love to have studies in person. I would love somebody to reach out through the website or to call us at 859-371-2095. Or come visit with us. We're taking precautions to be safe.
Ross, Todd, thank you so much for inviting us in. And this is the Northern Kentucky Church of Christ. Find peace in your life.
Thanks, Mona. Now, here's something else that may bring you a little peace of mind. When it comes to your home, you want to make sure that safety and efficiency are at the top of your list. But did you know that your heating and air conditioning unit can actually stop harmful viruses and painful pollen from getting inside your home? We talked to the professionals at Logan AC and Heat Services to learn more.
Hi, I'm Zane with Logan AC and Heat Services. I want to talk to you today about what our team can do to help you make your house more comfortable, healthy, and safe. Today we're here at one of our customers' houses that decided to invest in a staged piece of equipment. He was having some problems with uneven temperatures, a little higher humidity in the summertime, and of course everybody wants lower utility bills. So here we've got one of our high efficiency staged systems, and when I say staged equipment, what I'm talking about is a system that runs at different intensities. So when it's milder outside or the humidity is a little higher, it'll run at a lower intensity. We have to size systems here for the worst case scenario, which is 95 degrees in the summer, and we're almost never at those temperatures. So by having a stage system, it'll run at that lower intensity when we need it, and then when it gets really hot outside, then it'll kick up to the high intensity. By doing that, what it'll do is get you better dehumidification. It'll circulate the air more often, so you get more even temperatures throughout the house, and it's also quite a bit more efficient. And you also get a little bit longer life out of the system too. One other benefit of having staged equipment is that by running at that lower intensity, it'll naturally run longer and move more air across the filters or indoor air quality products that you have. Let's go inside and take a look at some of those. So we're here in the basement at the furnace, and when it comes to making your home healthier, this is where the action's going to be. Everybody is probably pretty familiar with a standard filter. Hopefully you've got one of these in your ductwork that's you're changing out regularly. The point of this filter is really to protect the furnace. If you're looking to make your house healthier and catch things like allergens and small particles that are going to bother you, you really need to introduce some electronics. And for that, I'm a big fan of this one here. This is what we call polarized media. What it does is it uses both a physical filter and some electronics to catch really small particles out of the air that will cause things like allergies and sinus infections and other bothersome stuff like that. So dust, dander, pollen, things like that, those don't stand a chance against something like this. One other item that's really popular and being talked about quite a bit nowadays is UV lights. They're great for killing things in the airstream like viruses, bacteria, and mold spores. When placed above the evaporator coil right here, this is the piece of your air conditioner that gets cold, that light shines down on those surfaces and keeps everything nice and clean, and also kills a lot of the stuff that's moving through the system. So last but not least, when it comes to operating a gas furnace, safety is obviously a big concern. When you're burning natural gas, one of the byproducts is carbon monoxide. And so it's important to have your furnace inspected annually. A good contractor is able to detect and spot those cracks early on so you can deal with it proactively. One other thing that's really important is a carbon monoxide detector. Every home with any gas appliance should have one, and ideally you should have one on every floor where there's a bedroom. So those are just a few things that you can do to keep your home healthy, comfortable, and safe throughout the year. For more information, check out our website.
With the pandemic and all of the challenges facing the world, staying healthy is more important than ever as we enter the fall and winter seasons. And joining us today with some important wellness tips is the TV host known as Dr. V, Dr. Yael Varnado. Joining us now, a practicing physician at Johns Hopkins University Hospital, the founder of AskDrV.com and the nonprofit Get Checked for Life. Dr. V, thank you for joining us. We're going to dive right in to the question at hand this morning. Why is it that the fall and winter months are so associated with getting sick, and what are some of the challenges facing us this year?
It's really important to make sure that your home is healthy. And one of the simplest and easiest things you can do, honestly, to improve your overall health in your house, decrease eye strain, and increase and better your sleep patterns is to change out your light bulbs. And so it's really important to look for the Philips Eye Comfort label on the product packaging when you're buying bulbs, because then you'll know that the bulbs that you're buying meet quality standards and offer lighting that's going to be easy on your eyes. They also comply with specific criteria for flicker, strobe, and glare. So you can feel confident that you are giving your family the best lighting, which is going to give you a perk and a boost inside the house, especially since we're in front of our screens more and more right now.
So what is, in your view, the most important thing people can do to stay healthy?
You know, prevention is really, really key. And so I tell people, clean out that medicine cabinet from last year, restock it with things that you know that you're going to need. So common cold is always a problem. And so I love natural remedies like Boron's non-drowsy cold calm melt-away tablets. They're easy to take at the first sign of a cold to relieve that sneezing, runny nose, nasal congestion, and minor throat pain. They also are good for anybody in your family ages 3 and up. They dissolve under your tongue and they don't interact with medications that you may be taking. And so one other thing you need to, of course, add into your medicine cabinet is something to help you sleep, because rest is what rejuvenates and heals your body. And so the Sugar Bear Sleep Gummies are my go-to this season because they're vegan, they're non-habit forming, they're free of artificial sweeteners, and they're going to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and then wake up feeling refreshed. And so you can feel confident that you're getting good quality sleep.
And if you do get sick, what should you do?
Definitely, if you're not feeling well, you need to speak with your doctor. I mean, that's the number one thing I want to tell people this year. Don't stay at home and try to tough it out. This is not the time of year to do that. And because we're wearing more masks, I've been telling my patients, you know, we're still getting dirt on our face, even the outside. You do have occasion to touch your face and your nose, and so you want to make sure that you're cleansing your skin. So it's really important, because we're wearing masks now, to have a good skincare regimen, because our skin is a part of our immune system. And so I love the CeraVe Acne Foaming Cream Cleanser because it has 4% benzoyl peroxide. It's going to help clear and treat acne and blackheads, but it has also 3 ceramides that are going to help maintain your skin barrier, put that moisture back in. So you're not stripping your skin, you're leaving it actually feeling really soft and comfortable. So now, you know, it's our new normal. We're living with masks. And so these are just a couple things that you can do to help prevent any illnesses and just kind of help you be a healthier, better family this fall and winter.
Well, Dr. V, we're just about out of time, but where can we go for more information about fall wellness?
Check out tipsontv.com.
All right, Dr. V, thanks so much for talking to us today. For you at home, we'll be right back. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. Now, if you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button. You can also check out full episodes of the show you've never seen before, or watch your favorites again and again. And as always, be sure to make it a great day.